Hello, me. It's me. Being God number 6th of July 2026, a bit late in the day, later than usual. It's going to be a quick one. I'm just trying to maintain a sense of continuity. If I've got something to share, something to say, it's not in my intention to waste people's time. As I say, I've no plan. I've got no idea what I'm doing. It's just evolving, unfolding, which is what divine nature is all about. I look at some videos on YouTube, and I've said before that I enjoy tarot cards. I bought these when I was 13, I think, 13 or 15. So, you know, that's 50 years ago. I don't do them often, and I don't really do them for people. Sometimes in the past they're quite accurate and it can freak people out. Anyway, I thought myself I'd just pick a card. This is why I'm talking about this, because there's just something that I want to share. So I've got cards here, and I've moved the table so we can try and get rid of this light. I don't know if you can see it. So we've got cards, process, reality and being, moment by moment again. I am as you are, it's easy to fuck up, okay? So cards. So I thought I would just pick one card from the tarot, the full set, just to touch base. See if there's anything that jumps out at me. And the card I got was, so I wanted to touch base. And as I'm shuffling, one card flipped over and then sat in the middle somewhere, and I had to fish through. I said, all right, I'll have this card. And its key phrase is, it's like we're just touching base, doing an evaluation, seeing where we are, seeing if we're on track. And I thought, it tells me nothing in the sense of it confirms what I'm doing. Yeah? Which is quite a nice balance, I thought, in a way, a nice way to perceive it. I thought, I'll just touch base. And it was like, yeah, just touch base. That's the reply. So, in the same inspiring catalytic video that I was watching this morning, Swan Tarot, she made reference to something that reminded me of something. The idea of gifting is an act of the heart. You don't have to go over the top and think, oh, you know, it's an act of love. I don't see love that way. Love is the creative form that we see. That's the divine love expressed. But anyway, it's that idea that cards given to you, gifted, carry a sense of being that's different to something that you've got yourself. And I was given years ago by a very dear friend, bless her, a set of medicine cards, and I've never used them for myself and her actually when she contacts me for a reading. Anyway, I thought, because I've got this just touching base, I had already intended to pull out a medicine card, and I pulled out number 8, the Otter. Very auspicious. So Otter is Otter reminds us of trust, feminine energy. It's all about the feminine energy when we think of earth and water. Otter. You know, that's the domain, that's the miracle. The miracle of transformation for Otter is what happens to the landscape where the otter lives when an otter is introduced. The transformation is wonderful. That's the result of feminine energy. And it's interesting that earth, water, when we think of what they are, as opposed to the masculine energy, which is like the spark of creation, air and fire. In unison, they work together. They create the flame. And it caused me to reflect in the sense of cards and process. So we've got 8, the otter, and we've got the divine feminine at play. And it reminded me, as I was working through in my head what I might say, just to give me some things to jump to that I think are relevant. And what struck me was the timing of how over the last 12 decades, say, probably longer, it would be longer, how the position of the feminine essence as perceived in the illusion has changed in its significance. Many positions at the peak, the pinnacle, the tip, the top, have been taken by women to balance that essence of powerful energy. And it reminds us about the whole aspect of Otter, divine feminine energy. That trust is all about an anticipation in relation. Okay? Trust, open, everyone we're assuming is a friend. Why would we consider anything else? That's divine feminine. So, it makes me think of purpose and process and how at this time coming out. I reflected also today on what I'm saying in the sense of, you know, I'm God as you are. And I'm here to remind us. And I thought to myself, it might sound quite arrogant and egocentric to say that I am God. So it's very important that I qualify that and say, as you are also. Because how can there be any difference? So, if we think of process, daily life, which we touched on yesterday, the reality of being in the moment, we can refer to the process. And the process that is, in each moment, with that choice of embodying divine perspective, or we embody the separation and we embody the ego, that human concept. Okay? How do you go through your day in the sense of holding down a job as we work through this cycle of survival? And I mention this because obviously there's all talk of change and threat of AI, which I see as a nonsense. The only folly is where there's an error in programming the instruction set of what some AI mechanism, however it's perceived, conceived, created, whatever, or delivered, realised, how we limit the extent of its actions. If we want a malicious intent, you know, a dangerous, a lethal intent even, that's a choice. It's not AI. Yeah, this is where people get carried away. Everything to do with AI is man-derived. Yeah? It can be taught to string words together to deliver coherent sentences, but it responds to questions. Does it sit and think, and then after a week of nothing, just come up with something that's not in its database, that's new, that's created in circuitry and CPU and RAM? No. So, this is, again, this idea of me being God and you are also, I am as you are, and it's easy to fuck up. In every moment, it's easy just to go, depending where you are, in the sense of your perception of self, and you can go, poof, right up to the top now, just because you can, because you're God, right? Before I realised the full extent of Godness, yeah, in the sense of divine human experience in heaven. There's to perceive truth, to experience truth, to be aware within the field of consciousness that is bathed and just awash with an ocean of truth. That's when the walk through heaven is really a divine exercise, when there is no judgment. Yeah, it's people focus on themselves. People focus on themselves, and that's the point. It's, you know, like look at all the perceived evil in the world, and it's still up to that that source of perceived evil to eradicate it within its own perception, its own field of perception, its own truth, its own belief. I am good. Yes, you are. I don't have to kill anyone. No, you don't. I don't have to abuse anyone. No, you don't. I'm going to get punished for this. No, you won't. Forgive yourself and move on and grow. Yeah. There should be no judgment. Remember, judgment, gossip, when you judge, you dilute power, your own, even in the judgment, projecting the judgment, the recipient of the judgment felt, you know? So, the feminine energy coming to the fore in this moment with an idea of community, but more so with feminine strength. That's what comes through to me. There is a strength I've always perceived. It's that idea of, if I was to employ, I think I would prefer to employ women because of that. I think the loyalty is there quicker, in the sense of that sense of right. This is what I say I'm going to do, so I'm going to do it. Yeah. That whole sense of community, team, and everything else, I think it comes from the perception of divine feminine energy as the conceiver, to have that unique bond quicker to develop family, community, which can be on a global scale. There's no reason why all of this cannot be embraced, and you just quietly go about your business and you can change what you don't see as being in line with a divine perspective. You know, if you were thinking of injecting foreign stuff into your face or your arse or whatever the fuck it is you do, yeah? You're thinking of getting pissed, yeah, and then becoming obnoxious or worse. Yeah, if you were a criminal as such, try and look at why there is this perception of need to do the things you do. What's the alternative? Is there anything that drives me? Joy is born of passion. If passion is love, and love remains your endeavour, you just live in joy. Okay? So, I think that's it really. I don't see why I should go on talking rubbish. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about religion, I think. But that's about it. It's remember that the process, I always keep hinting about how things are as a divine walker in heaven. The experience, the perception of reality is fuller in its wonder. The interest is deeper in every expression of divine creation until there is a unity. It's God looking at God, being God. Have fun.